at the end of the day. All right, first things first. My name's Kenneth Bird. My company is uh, Black Series Edition LLC, and our second company we're working on, actually three companies we're working on. We have the other new company under Ambient Rejection, Black Edge Screen Paints. That's for our commercial distributor we're building, and we have another one under the Exotic Technology, which is a different color screen paint, which I can't wait to start working with that. All right, so, oh man, so little oopsie here. My phone popped out of my holder, hit my keyboard, and something popped up. So I was hoping we can get System 32 because the last thing I need, get one of those things. That's a freaking headache to deal with in the day. So this right here is the new, we just paid for our new domain. We actually had two domains. One is actually Crystal Edge, but I haven't decided what's going to do with that one yet. I can actually sell that one for quite a lot of money, but nah, I'm going to keep it because I'm probably going to use it for something else later on. So right now we changed out, the Crystal Edge is now being converted for the new distributor company. I have to go change some things on the Facebook account because on our Facebook account, I got a little pictures on the other site too, because we started picking up followers on our Black Edge series site, which I got to change that out to as Black Edge series. Oh, I do got to change the name right there because it's an LLC now. Gee whiz Louise, I forgot I got to do all that today. Man, I got a lot on my plate to do. So today I have to be submitting documents today for court, and then I have to go take care of something at the post office, and then some other stuff I have to do, and just a lot of paperwork. But this one right here is being changed out. Nothing's going to be sold on the site until we finish all the paperwork with it, because this is going to take a particular special kind of paperwork. This is being used for distributing products. The volume of paint we're going to be selling on here is not for customers. This is only for companies only, and we're going to be doing something like in the range of 5 gallons, 10 gallons, and 20 gallons. So this is a whole different project on its own by itself. This is not going to be something that's going to be available anytime soon. Let me see. That's the wrong password for that one. Oh yeah, there we go. That's going to be something that's going to be available anytime soon, because right now, like I said, we're still getting through all the paperwork for the Black Series Edition. And then I have to work on the paperwork for the exotic collections, and then this one will be coming up next. So I guess we're doing back and forth, because this is going to require some paperwork, licensing, definitely licensing. We're definitely going to need that, and a ton of safety material data sheets are going to have to be done also too. Let me see here what we're doing here. All right, we don't need all this. What was this one? This one has been working on a page. That's what we're doing. So right now we're switching everything over. I'm trying to figure out how to get into my watermark. I need to get my watermark. I have to change my watermark over. This is going to have its own logo attached to it. So we're going to change the watermark for the logo on the YouTube channel. As a matter of fact, the YouTube channel is probably going to be changing again, because, again, we already have a Black Series LLC already. What we're going to need to do is change this over to, okay, I'm definitely going to address that today. We're going to change this over to our new Black Edge screen paint. That's what we're going to change it over to. So we're getting around to that one soon. So we removed some things off the site because, like I said, they're no longer needed, because we're getting ready to start working on this site pretty soon, and we're going to be turning it into, which you won't see and you won't be able to get access to, because you would need passwords to get in and out of here. I think we might have some areas we'll be able to show off. The shopping carts definitely will not be for the customers. The shopping carts are just strictly for companies only. So this is going to be a whole different site. So I went and paid the money for the domain name to change it over to the new site. Let me see. I'm going to go back over to... I'm trying to figure out where I found that at. Let me see. I'm going to go back over here. Go back to the Black Series home. Over here. And I have to change out. I have to go to, matter of fact, I might have to do it on my phone, because I did make the setup on my phone. Usually, wherever place you did you applied for for your Facebook page, you have to do it from there. So I have to go on my phone. I have to change out the Black Series to an LLC. That's what I'm gonna have to change it out to. And this logo, all this will be disappearing pretty soon. Once we get the rest of our paperwork back for our copyrights, we can basically change this out to what we wanted to change it out to. So we're getting ready for that. Let me see. I need to go into... Oh yeah, because I got to go to the phone from here to do this. Because I did the application. No. I got it right here. They got it right here. Wow, do you have to earn that to get that at the end of the day? I was wondering, because when I first started off, this option wasn't even here. Now it's there. So can I get into there and do all this? Oh, yes, I can. Man, okay, I see how this works. You got to get enough people to follow the page in order to get those options to unlock. All right. That's good. I can do all my work from here. I got all my stuff loaded up on here. I can drop. I can change anything over. That's freaking cool. Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to go over and do that right now. Let me see. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be changing over the company to the distributor company. As I said, gave many updates that was going to happen near the end of the year, that the Crystal Edge was going to be converted over to a distributorship for big companies, and there's going to be a name change, and this is what's going to happen. That's going to happen. So all that's going to go into effect. Now, keep in mind, our copyrights still stand on the Digital One Crystal Screen Paint, because it's a shame, but you have individuals out there think because they slandered that company and that logo that they are scot-free from anything they would have done. No. A copyright sits up there for 75 years and a little bit longer than that when a person even passes away. So you're in violation of touching my copyrights. So that still stands. Nothing's going to go from there. So we had one person who went in and made a fake receipt, used their copyright logos to officially forge and make a fake receipt of our products, saying that he got this order from us. You use the copyrights. That's a lawsuit right there. The other fellow basically constantly uses their copyrights all the time. Yeah, that's definitely a lawsuit right there, including the penalty under the what's it called? Oh yeah, we filed for that. We filed for small claims court for the the batch numbers. Yeah, that all still stands. Still there. So that's still going to go on. Right. So then we have to change our company out. This should be an LLC. So I got to change up the name. All right, I can't do none of this here because again, this is all personal business. So I got to come here and change that over to LLC and get ready to upload some videos on here and add some more pictures. We're going to add to this also too for our fans over here. And then let's see what we're going to do right here. I got to change this all out. This says we change to LLC. All these have to change to LLCs. I'll get on my whatchamacallit here and do that work right here. Do we even have that file? We do have that file. Let me see. If it's here. And this is what I mean by never doing anything. The other ones don't do anything new. They don't try to do anything new. We're getting ready to set up our platform to get ready for the summer, and they're not doing anything at all, period. I don't even know how you cannot understand viewing comb and narrow viewing comb effect because you don't test certifies. That's why. When you do enough certified tests, you'll see it. You got to do a lot of testing, and they have to be done in fully lit environments. Man. But I love it how people challenge on how much I know. You want to get into venue projectors? Good gracious, I'll crack a book on that one, boy. I'll give you a biblical scroll on that one, how much I know in venue projectors. I don't know anything. See all these pictures? These are all the pictures from all the demonstrations I have done. I have tons of them in here. See all that? That's from all test demonstrations, outside and inside. These are our libraries. Our libraries can date back to 5 and 6 years. This is how many screen paints I've engineered, developed, and tested. They don't have archives like this. We have archives because we have the experience and the knowledge. We know what we're talking about. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. These are all my pictures of all the screens I've tested on every level, certified screens, everything you could possibly think of is in this archives. Where's your archives? You see all this right here on this side? All that? These are all screen paints that I developed. That's my record sheet. That's how far it goes back. All this, every last one of these lines is a technology that I was blessed to be able to develop, make, and test. Every single one of them. Those are files. You can't show that because you don't have the experience. You have no knowledge when it comes to this. That's why when I say you don't know anything, you don't know anything. Not being rude or being ignorant, you don't know anything. You should have automatically known from the door that any screen paint, even house paint, can pick up at 190. That's nothing. The difference is that we test against certifies. That's why we can make the statement, because a certified screen would have an extremely difficult time picking up at 190-degree viewing angle. And when we're saying this, we're not saying this against other screen paints because we know they can do this. We're saying this against certifies because we know they can't. And because you don't do the demonstrations on certifies and a high selection of them in fully lit environments, you know nothing about this particular level when it comes to projection screen paints because you don't do the tests. So if I'm working with somebody who's going to spend thousands of dollars for a screen, and the first gripe they're going to have is, hey, if I turn to the side, this thing's going to go dark on me. We can say, hey, we could do this at that size for much less, and we're not going to go dark because we're comparing ourselves to certifieds, not to you, because it's paint. Any paint can pick up at 190. Any paint can pick up at 180, 170, 160, no problem, because it doesn't have the reflective surface attached to it. Boy, you guys don't know anything. But this is what happens when you have a lack of education in the field, when you're scared to do tests. Oh, this is the 3D mapping applications that we're doing. Oh yeah, I remember these. This is when I first got my system. When I was doing those, well, that's a pain in the freaking neck in the kitchen trying to get that thing to react right. That thing was full of bugs. I had to go in there, had to basically update, and I had to remove some files out of their firmware, which should not have been there to begin with, because it was a nightmarish from the being there. Yeah, these are the first Digital One Crystal Screen Paint logos. Our first company logos right there. But man, that's why I started laughing when I saw the email. I was like, gee whiz. I mean, you guys just show how dumb you are at the end of the day. Any paint can pick up at 190. When we do those tests, it's to go against certified. Why do you think I have a certified screen sitting against my screen every time I do that demonstration? We always have certifieds up there when we do it. We're showing the comparison of the certified screen versus ours. If I take paint on screens, goo screen, any one of them can pick up at 190 easy. It's a paint. They just do a much better job if you're going against a certified screen. But the difference between the gunmetal and the paints you have now is the gunmetal screens can maintain higher contrast levels and much more richer, beautiful colors. And that's where the gray screen can compete with the gunmetal because it's a darker screen. But it also too has the reflective surface that allows it to read and understand white light, which allows it to pick up nice bright snow images, much like the gray screens can do. So this is why the gray screen became obsolete, because now you have a technology that has the ability to pull up much darker levels, much better color, and on top of that, it can maintain white levels because of the reflective surface. Downside of that technology is that it has the narrow viewing cone effect, and therefore when it comes to screen paint products, they can pick up at 190, 180, 170 without having the dark edges, where the certified screen will have this issue. The gray screen paint products, again, should not have any problems with picking up on ultra short throw projectors, and so forth, where the certified screens do have this problem from time to time. They are plagued with these particular projectors because they come up too dark. That's why I said when I read the specifications on someone's screen paint that had a 1.1 gain, if you're advising that you can't use this with an ultra short throw, there is something seriously wrong with your screen, because any paint can pick up on ultra short throw. Any. It's not plagued by the reflective surface. That's why it causes a narrow viewing cone effect. But again, you don't know anything about this theory because you don't do any testing on certified screens in fear that this is a screen that will overpower your product, which it will, and you can't be in the same environment because that screen will not wash out when yours will. That's the problem. That's why when you watch the demonstrations, you will notice that the environments always stay to the exact same environment, in the same dark environment. Whatever they're in there using, it's always in that same comfortable environment because, again, that's the problem with their screen, not with the technology that's sitting in there with the screen. It's so easy to read, it's not even funny. See, these are my picture demonstrations. I was one time on his channel one time, and he was showing me these pictures in the dark. I'm like, come on, man. You got to be kidding me. Why are you showing me pictures in the dark? That's what he showed me, a bunch of pictures. Dog with a scarf on, sitting in the dark. These are the demonstrations I do. It's 180 inch sitting on my ceiling, and that's 150 inch on my wall with an ultra short throw projector that cost me 60 bucks. The ceiling at 180 inches, that projector cost me $140, and I can display just like that with no problem. Can't go on there with those fake products, don't work. Now, when you take a picture of a screen, those of you who are going to get into the screen paint, if this is going to be a thing you're going to get into, do not make the dumbest mistake of being all the way up on top of the screen. Don't do that dumb nonsense. Because again, when you're taking pictures of an environment, you want to see with a projection setup, especially with a projection setup, because this is something that is known for having you trapped in dark environments. You want to be to show that your screen paint can pull up in fully lit environments. You want to show the entire environment. Don't zoom up on top of the screen. That's the dumbest thing I've seen people do. And they figure that they pull up on the screen. If you have to be that close to the screen to show the clarity of the product, then there's a problem there. Because if you have to be that close, that means you're literally going to have to be that close when you physically watch the screen. That should not be an issue. I think we did some, floor displays. See the floor displays we did right there. Okay, let me see. Go back to my library. Our gray and white test demonstrations. Oh. See, when you do an ambient light rejection demonstration, gentlemen, you must make sure that your screen is near the window, not setting on the floor under the window, not having the window way back and somewhere. Saying when you're showing that, you must show the screen is making physical contact with window light. It is extremely important. That's why I said that we're an expert in the field of ambient light projection technology, because we have the demonstrations. Each one of these pictures have a video attached to it that links it, and the videos link itself to the website. This is what you're going to have to show people if you're going to prove that your product is ambient light rejection. If it's not ambient light rejection, then you need to stop doing demonstrations where you're opening up windows and doors to try to make people think that it is when it's not. Pick one. See how my screen sits on the windows here and here on both sides? And if anyone wants to sit there and say, oh, that's Photoshop, hey, hit the back button on Google, click it, and it'll bring it up to a video that matches it. These are actual pictures from after I get done shooting a video. I'll take pictures afterwards, so that way if anybody clicks back to do the image search, it comes back to the actual video. So that's what you want to do. Anytime you're doing pictures or something like that, make sure you do the pictures of the actual video that you shot. So if someone does an image search with Google Lens, your video will pop up. See how much light hits that screen? So it's not even washed out or faded. That's what you want to be to do. But you guys can't do that because, again, gray screens don't have that capability. Well, not gray house paint. I can't say not all gray screen paints because I don't know, which I need to stop saying that from the door because I don't know about the other people who make gray screen paints. Maybe they do have that capability. I don't know because I didn't test their stuff yet. But I do know for a fact from you guys have house paint. I know that for a fact. Got one guy who matched house paint multiple levels and then turns around and tries to sell a product which clearly shows a demonstration of him making the same product that he's trying to sell. And the other fellow went through all this freaking nonsense just to have the freaking screen match a wall in a theater room. That is pretty bad. Now, when y'all do your demonstrations, I see a lot of people have condensed light in their ceiling. They will have the lighting way over here. Sorry about that. And they'll have the screen over here. That's a fail. That's a fail on any level. I don't care if you're certified or not. That's a complete fail and basically misconception to the customer. See how our demonstrations are done? Screens are raised all the way to the top so they have constant contact with the light. And then we put lights at the bottom if we're doing extreme demonstrations. And that screen is supposed to maintain with no problem. Contrast levels are extremely important to do in these demonstrations due to the fact the contrast levels will actually wash out the fastest and color patterns are needed. Now, you see when I did the demonstration here, gentlemen? I'm trying to be polite and call you gentlemen. There's other words I could call you at the end of the day, but I think that I'm trying to be polite here because you do some dumb stuff. You see this demonstration? See how clean it is? You see how if the customer looks at this, he'll notice there's no dark spots in the area. That when that screen starts to transition, you can see that the screen is physically black where it's not picking up. If we're showing a contrast level, it is going to match the furniture and the black in the environment. If your screen doesn't match the environment that has anything black in it, that means your screen physically is not seeing black, it's seeing shades of gray. Now you see how my screen fits in the window? You see that beam of light? That's sunlight making contact with the screen. We do not advise you to use our screens in direct sunlight, but that shows you exactly how much light the screen's going to absorb. Well, I can do a video in here and just say educating you guys, educating the naysayers on what your video demonstration should be looking like. See that right there? That's what you need to have. I don't want to hear any of y'all talk about ambient light projection technology because you don't know ambient light projection technology and you shouldn't be speaking of it. You notice in all my demonstrations, I'm not sitting on top of the screen. I'm at a distance when I do this because I want for the customer to be to see the entire environment as I'm doing this. What's the point of me taking the camera and zooming all the way up on the screen? Now you can't see how the environment is reacting to the screen. Oh, we're back to our black series. There we go. We're not going to bother with the 250 because we know at the end of the day you guys cannot do 250. So no point on there because you don't have the cable. Ooh, wait a minute, never mind. Maybe we should show off the massive monster 250 just for fun. You don't know how to utilize your time. That's the problem. When people are so busy hating on other people, they don't know how to utilize their time. Since I have been in this spot right here, I've developed another company. I've developed 2 different forms of screen paints. I have my license pretty soon to sell in the state that which I am in, which you do not have a license. I also too have tax forms on this particular company also too, and tax forms being developed for the other 2 companies also too. You do not pay taxes. We know that from the door. So that's very questionable about your business. Also too, I have a DBA attached to my company and an EIN, which you need both of those in order to get the license to begin with. You don't have a DBA, nor do you understand what a DBA is. So you don't know what that is. Also too, we have LLCs that are coming up. I have one on this one, the Black Series. The Exotic has one coming in, and we have another one we have filed for the distributor company, which is going to get there. But that one has to be completely different because it's a different entity where we're actually applying applications for. I've already applied for copyrights and patent pendings, which I showed you on my form, showing you that this is paperwork which I completed under LegalZoom, showing these are files that are already completed and ready to go. So I did all that while I was in this one little spot right here. How much work did you get done? Nothing. Not a thing. You haven't developed anything new. You don't have any file documents. You have nothing. I did all that while I was in this one spot. And that's it. That's all you guys did. When I was over here, do you know how many different forms of technology I developed while I was in that house? How many screens I displayed while I was in that house? You guys did nothing with your time. And the reason why you didn't do anything with your time, because you don't know anything. That's why. All you know is the same thing over and over again. High-end projector, dark environment. That's it. That's all you know. Your screen paint can't go any farther. Can't do floor projection, can't do ceiling projection, can't do 3D mapping applications. You don't know anything about black rear projection technology. Nothing at all, period. You're stuck in the same spot. Mind you, when I was in this house, I built so many outdoor projection screens, it was not even funny on how much I utilized that backyard. You don't know how to base. Now I can come here and I can sit here at the comfort of my desk and I can go, did this, did that, did that, did this, that. It's already done. My work is done. They want to see a mass up to, and people get shot with a 250-inch screen. Really? They love seeing that giant screen. All that room you don't utilize. Well, not the other one. He doesn't have much room, but the other one does have a lot of room, and he should be utilizing that. If I had that kind of room to work with, it'd be 300-inch screen, 500-inch screens. I would have blown that backyard out. It would have been freaking amazing. I did massive 235.1 curved screens. But the reason why you can't do that is because you don't have the knowledge to do it. You don't understand anything about curved screens. I've actually built multiple curved screens on my YouTube channel that I've actually constructed and designed. I've done something called an ALR curved screens. I built simulators. You guys don't know anything about that stuff because, again, your knowledge only goes as far as it can as your product. And the sad thing about it is you don't even know what your product can even do. Who don't have the capabilities. See that right there? So that screen is picking up that bone white level. Isn't that gorgeous for 250 inches? Huh. So that's why I said that they don't have the knowledge. I love how they do try to challenge me though, but you know, you learn a lot about the whole thing when you start doing enough real testing. You see how this environment looks? See how my environment, I love this room so much. You see how there's no dark corners in here? See my ultra short though sitting on the floor? That's a 100% jet black screen. Then I converted a projection screen that cost me around, I think I paid $78 for this one, or $68 around that price. I think I paid for it. And because of black technology, we were able to take a screen that was 92 and turn it to 98 because we don't need borders on the screen because the screen is physically black. The only time you would need borders on a screen is if the paint is gray or silver or something like that. You would have to have it. Keep the screen from bleeding out, or edge bleeding, or however you want to put it. But when you have a screen that's physically 100% black, why would you even need a border to begin with? Which means the customer has the ability to expand his screen size by the 2 inches that they have on each side. 2 inches here, 2 inches here, and then you put up an additional 2 inches from the top so it evens out the screen. That means my screen that was 92 inches now is around 98 inches now, because I can add an additional 6 more inches to the screen that was not being used due to the fact that the screen was gray or white, and that was basically cutting into my image. Interesting, isn't it? Same thing with the same theory if you're doing 235.1. If you're doing 235.1 on a screen that's not designed for 235.1, so your screen has a 16:9 aspect ratio and you want to do 235.1. Well, the problem is you're going to get the bars, cinema bars here and here. That's why when you go to Silver Ticket, they have these curtains that you can slide across your screen so you can give off the illusion that you are basically picking up black bars. But you can't do this if your screen is gray, white, or silver. Even though we're developing a silver technology, it doesn't have that capability. Only black screens can do this, which means a black screen, it doesn't make a difference what aspect ratio I pull up on that screen. Everything's going to have a black border attached to it because the screen is physically black. There's another plus side of having black technology. And there you go right there. Now, if people are going to ask about motorized projection screens, I do not see any test demonstrations on any of your sites on motorized projection screens. We have a dozen pictures. We have us painting the motorized projection screen. We have the motorized projection screen going up and down and down and up. We got the motorized projection screen sitting next to a window. We got the motorized projection screen on ultra short throw. We got the motorized projection screen on 1,000 lumens next to a window. We have it at 5,000 lumens to show it the screen doesn't hotspot. We had the screen against certified screens. We had the screens against white sheets of paper and all that other good stuff. Gray screen paints to show you at the end of the day your products cannot pick up contrast or color. There we go. There's our white levels put up on ultra short throw. And there's our contrast levels, which we know you guys can't see. Okay, let's come out of here. Because there's tons of pictures. We'll be in there forever. Oh my goodness, this is where we really embarrass you guys. Again, we're experts in ambient rejection technology. That's my field. This is an inflatable. Actually, we have a paint we're working on that will allow you to coat an inflatable screen. This was an all-white screen I picked up. Inflatable screen. I gave that to my one of my customers. Got that thing. This is what our technology looks like at around 5:30 in the evening. You can't see that. You're definitely not picking that up on 5:30. Even the white screen can't pick up, a gray screen can't register either. Only our black technology can do it. Doesn't make a difference if your projector is 5,000 lumens. You can't register. You can't pick it up because you can't see contrast. That's why. That's why we advise when we do the Silver Patriot, we advise you don't do it outside. Actually, it's not going to be made for outside anyway. That'll keep people from taking it outside because it won't work. You're better off with black technology. Anytime you're outside, black technology is the best way to go. But again, you know, we did a picture challenge. You couldn't even match our pictures. Well, put it this way, they can't match it. Certifieds can't match it. Certified gray screen paints can't even match it. Yeah, going places y'all can't go. Look at that. Inflatable screens. I'm looking for something here. I need to change that to an LLC. Let me see where we're at. Which one we're going to use? I just need the dummy label for right now. Cause and then show the label. So yeah, don't do that nonsense of being right up on top of the screen. Don't do that dumb stuff. Because again, as I said before, the customer needs to see the entire environment and how it's reacting to the screen. You really don't know what edges are washed out. Ooh. Okay, I like that. All right, I'm going to do that one later. I got an idea for that one. Can't do that on a gray screen. You know why? See that background? That background has to be 100% black. It's an OLED demonstration. Gray screen can't pick it up. It'll come up kind of like a washed out kind of discoloration. That's what it'll come up with. We can't see 100% black level. We actually had a challenge on this one too. This was never met either. So, gentlemen, where it says OLED at the top, you can't do that. I have no idea why. Sorry, people eating crackers. I do apologize. I will never understand why. And we do OLED demonstrations on a gray screen, like a 2.0, to show where the black levels lay at. That's it. I'm not going to sit there on camera and tell you that a 2.0 is going to pull a black level equal to a black screen, because it's not going to happen. As a matter of fact, we have a huge massive disclaimer and they're telling you that this can't be done. And the reason why we do that, because we have people at the end of the day, sorry to call them idiots, but they are, that are telling people at the end of the day that a gray screen can see a black level. And then you have people out there believing that this can happen when this is not true. That's why we put that disclaimer in there, so that way we're telling you the truth, that no, this can't be done. You have to have a much darker screen. You have to have a physical black screen in order to pull a physical black level. Even gunmetals can't achieve this because, again, they're not black. That's why when we put a gunmetal against our screen and we show a star field, our screen comes up black, where the screen comes up a kind of a grayish look to it because it's not black. So if a gunmetal laying against our black technology doesn't pull up black, what makes you think a gray screen is going to be able to do it? My goodness, sometimes I wonder. That's why I said, sometimes I wonder. The freaking stupidity level is unbelievable. Really got to stop saying we pick up black levels. You do not see black levels. You see shades of gray. That's what you pick up. And depending on how dark your gray is, how dark the gray level you can see. Don't pick up black. Now, I'm not saying this to my customers because my customers know our products. We're saying this to the dummies that are going out there making these statements and can't back it up. Not even in the dark, you can't even pick up a black level. And we had built a dedicated theater room. They couldn't pick up jack in that room. Nothing. My goodness. Reason why I show people this, because I'm showing you what you should be seeing with your projector. Now, when you do demonstrations and you open up a door, oh, I can't express this one enough. We go off topic all the time. People get used to it. I do this all the time. I always go off topic because there's just so much to talk about. And the reason why their videos are so short and sweet, and the reason why I say it's not sweet, but they're short because they don't know anything. Can't talk about, like I said, if you only read 2 chapters in nuclear physics compared to someone who spent their lifetime doing it, the person who spent their lifetime doing it can have longer lectures because he has more knowledge to talk about, where a person who reads 2 paragraphs have nothing. They have to make it up as they go along. And that's what you're dealing with screen paint products. They make it up as they go along because they have no test to back their products. When you do a demonstration involving an open door, your screen physically has to be in the open door. Anytime I do demonstrations and I show the door open, because we have it open for the cat to look out the window at the birds, we don't go, oh, look at the door. We don't look at the door. We look at the screen that's being affected by the window. The only areas that I can show that are making contact with the screen are light that's actually making contact with the screen. And we have a guy who comes on YouTube who does this constantly all the time, who opens up the door, and you can see with the physical light from the ceiling to the walls, it's not making contact with the screen that's tucked away in a dark corner over there. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. This is how you do a demonstration with an open door. So you have the screen at 106 inches. We have the screen on a kind of a system where we can actually, pole system, we call it a blah, 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 background, photo background shoot system, where we can take the screen and we can raise it up to the air. Because one of the things I also noticed too, that when they do overhead lights, they would drop the screen dramatically low to the ground so it's not affected by the lights overhead, but try to give off the illusion that the screen is actually making contact with light when it physically isn't. So gentlemen, when I had these conversations, you notice that I show pictures as I do this. This is how you're supposed to look. Customers are buying screens. If a screen has real ambient light rejection, this is how it's supposed to be reacting. Light is supposed to be in constant contact with the screen. Now, I had some people would sit there and say, I got to put down something more to this caption because I knew it was going to go into this, because I love showing up the pictures. I love talking about how it's supposed to react. Doesn't make a difference if you have a 5,000 lumens. 5,000 lumens, 7,000, 10,000, 20,000 lumens do not work on gray paints. They don't pick up at all. Perfect example, watch the trailer that comes on my YouTube channel. You'll see a testimony from a church. 7,000 lumen projector, couldn't read the screen. Couldn't pick it up. So that's what tells you right there. So what's going to happen is something, the biggest mistake people make when they get projectors is they read all those bells and whistles on their machine thinking this is what they're really going to get when they turn that projector on, not realizing they're only going to get half of that because the other half comes from the screen. Doesn't make a difference how expensive you pay for a projector. It is not going to fix the white screen woes. You're not going to be able to see any of this. You're going to see a little bit of what your projector can do, but not its full potential, because the screen plays the other half of it. Now, if your screen does have a poor contrast capability and poor ambient light rejection technology, then you're going to see a little bit of a bump, but nothing where your projector is supposed to really be at. You should be to display an environment just like this with no problem whatsoever. See that? There you go. You should be able to pick up a 100% black level. Doesn't make it, your projector doesn't have to have a 2 million to 1, 3 million to 1 to pick up a 100% black level. If your screen is physically black, your projector will pick it up regardless. But if you have to spend the money for a projector with a 2 million or up, that means your screen is having an issue. That projector over there doesn't cost $3,300. That projector over there cost me around 270 bucks. It has a 2,000 to 1 contrast ratio, but because the screen is physically black, it has over a 2 million to 1 now attached to it, because the screen can see a physical black level in a fully lit environment without the screen washing out. Now, when you're showing up a true 100% contrast level, one of the things I love the most when you watch these demonstrations is, if you notice in any OLED demonstration, the background is always much darker than the black level that they're showing off in the demonstration. I like the OLED horse, and this is where people skip and don't understand the OLED horse demonstration. The OLED horse shows multiple shades of black level triggered off the screen, including the extreme solid black level that's sitting behind the horse. That's never supposed to come up gray. So you should be showing multiple levels of black shapes going off at the same time, which they can't do it if the screen physically can't see black. Only physical black screens can pick that up. Oh, and if you notice, look at the environment. Now, this is what I see in a lot of demonstrations. I see people open up the door and the screen will be way over here, and they go, look at the lighting. Look how it's making. No, stop it. Stop it. My goodness, I swear sometimes. This is one of my favorite demonstrations to see. I see a lot of people try to cheat and try to make it seem like their screen's seeing a contrast level. They would use the OLED Jazz demonstration, or sorry, LG Jazz, OLED LG Jazz demonstration, because there's some black in it. But the problem is there's too many colors in it, and they try to fool you to think they're just seeing a contrast level. This needs to be done in a full lit environment. As a matter of fact, the 1100 lumen challenge, we did this outside at around 4 o'clock or something like that. Did that demonstration. You can't see any of this. None of this is picking up. You saw that black furniture we have in the environment? See how it's matching the screen? Yeah, there you go. See how much light we have making contact? Screen's in the door. That's how you're supposed to do it. Anytime somebody shows you a demonstration to open up a door, screen should physically be next to the door or in that door. There's our screen displaying its white levels. You know, we do so many white level demonstrations. I never see enough contrast level demonstrations being done on a gray screen. Now, keep in mind, this is only a shocker. Yeah, you've already seen the video demonstrations, all right? So you know already. Gray household paints next to a gray screen will do the exact same thing, unless that screen can show that it can do something different that the gray household paints can't do. And one of the things it's going to have to be the Shushi 3 ambient light rejection, which those screens are not. And you're going to have to be in an environment, which I'm showing right here, to be able to maintain color without washing out or fading, because they have a hard time picking up colors. They need to be calibrated. And a 100% contrast level, which you cannot pick up. That's what you're going to have to be to display. If you notice, we do a lot of demonstrations on black versus black. I love doing those demonstrations. You see that white level on that screen? So that screen, you see how black it is? Look at that screen right there and look at my furniture. That's how black that screen is. And look at the white level that's pulling off that screen. That's why I laugh at people when they do those fake door demonstrations. I used to hate those so much. They would basically show a room with light in it and go, look, there's light in the next room. Light in the next room has nothing to do with the screen where it's sitting at. Where do you get these shenanigans from? Where do you get the football demonstration? All right. Now, I hate to embarrass people on this one. We saw somebody, we know who it is, we're not going to mention their name, do a show pictures on their website of a football demonstration. So you know this is how it's done. If you're going to do a demonstration for the environment, again, stop squeezing on top of the screen because, again, people can't see the environment. They can see the door here, a light here with no problem. Oh, by the way, that's a Cinema Complete if you're wondering what technology that is. This is the pictures you should have on your website showing your screen can produce in a fully lit environment. And we're going into contrast levels. This is where you guys can't go because you guys can't see black. Oh, let's get to the classic cars. See how beautiful that red pops? I love doing the angle gains because it shows exactly how much light's making contact with the screen. See how the image is crystal clear? This is without using calibrated or expensive projectors. The projector I'm using in the demonstration is strictly 720p. That's it. No calibrating. Cheap, used, old 2012 Chrissy projector. That's it. $270. And you got people with $3,300 units that can't even see a 100% contrast with a 2 million to 1. They have to calibrate and they're stuck in dark environments. You don't see any white lights popping up behind the back of my screen. It is nice and bright. As a matter of fact, I got 2 windows behind the back of my screen. Now, we don't count the 2 windows. You will never hear me in a conversation say, oh, look, we have 2 windows. The 2 windows aren't making contact with the screen. They're sitting behind the screen. It's not affecting the screen in any way whatsoever, so we don't count that. If people are counting windows in the environment that are not near the screen, that's basically another fail. Look how beautiful that red is. See what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. And that's no calibrating. That's why calibrating, I consider, is the biggest joke of all times. Now, of course, back then when you had white screens, you had to calibrate. You didn't have a choice. You literally had a white screen, so you know you're going to lose color rapidly. Lights on or off, you're still going to lose color. But in this decade and time with the technology we have now in projectors, this should not be a problem. And the reason why you have to calibrate, because you have to make up for what the screen can't see. The projector's working perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. And we can use outdated 2012 model old projectors, and we can get that image like that. Then what's the problem with projectors that cost $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 that are stuck in these dark environments and are calibrated? What's the problem? We don't seem to be having a problem there. So what's the problem? So they'll advise you to go out. If you want to get a better image, you want to get better color, you have to spend money for this projector right here. And you get that projector, you get it home, and it looks like crap. And then they tell you, well, you're going to have to spend the money for this screen. That's an extra $3,000, $5,000 you're going to have to spend at the end of the day. And for screen paint products that are claiming that can do this, because we can do it with no problem, there's our demonstrations, pictures, and videos to match. But for other products, they can't do this because they can't get past basic house paint. So if you can't get through basic house paint, you can't get past a certified screen, because a certified screen is going to be much more difficult to go through. Especially black diamond technology is going to be extremely hard to go through if you can't get past house paint. Can't stick diamonds in dark environments because, again, they work in dark environments, but this is a screen that has an amazing ambient light rejection technology attached to it. Keep in mind, as I said before, not a fan of the people who developed the screen because I don't like how they treated us, but I do respect the technology. It is good. That's why we take great honors when we know that we can take it down. It's worth our time. Not much of a challenge for us, but yeah, we can take one of them down easy. And if Diamond ever wants to do a side-by-side, I had something called an Alpha Black. You definitely do not want to lay a screen against that technology. It will wipe yourself completely clean. I mean, no joke. It's designed to be brutal. That's why we only make a certain amount of them in the entire world. But if you ever want to do a test demonstration against an Alpha 1 Black, you let me know, and I guarantee you, I will walk out of that room with a smile on my face. I guarantee you. I know what it's blessed to be designed to do. It is interesting. Pulls an extremely high white level, as you've seen what the Black series can do. and they can maintain their contrast levels. They can maintain ambient environments. They don't require calibrated projectors. Even the projectors that are thrown against the screen are basically bottom dollar machines that most of these big companies would just fill with sand and just stick by the door for a doorstop. I can make a projector of $270 look like that. Why I got my door open. And that's a Cinema Complete that can do that. So you guys have to spend all these money for expensive projectors for your show. We don't do that at the end of the day. In my show, I'm not spending that money for those projectors. Oh, heck no. Especially when I can do it at 270 bucks. Why spend the money? And I said calibration is a joke. The reason why I said calibration is a joke is because you got a projector that works perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. And you're calibrating the projector because they told you that you have to calibrate the projector in order to get your colors right. There's nothing wrong with your projectors. There's nothing wrong with the color. It's all working perfectly fine. This projector is not calibrated. We're using the demonstration. If you notice, we're in an environment far brighter than anyone who uses their demonstrations on YouTube. Look how bright those images are. Don't they look amazing? Anyway, so with that being said, since we're not having that issue, you're told to calibrate it because if the colors don't come up correctly, then you're told to calibrate your projector. I've heard somebody say that in the demonstration when they were showing off screen paint product to a customer, that the image would get better once they calibrate the projector. That is really sad. So even if you do calibrate your projector, your colors are still off. Did you know that? You can bring a professional in and they can tell you that you're no, I guarantee if I stick my screen against a couch, give me a projector that somebody professionally calibrated, and I guarantee I will debunk your theory in a hot second. All I have to do is take that technology and stick it against that screen, and I will produce contrast levels and colors you've never even seen before. Even if you calibrate the projector, you still can't see the colors that that screen can see. So theory on that for people saying, but no, but that's true. No, okay, put it this way. Can you calibrate a projector to see a 100% black level? You can't. So if that's the case, then you could calibrate the projector to produce way beyond better colors, way beyond better contrast, then you should be able to take a black piece of paper, stick it in the middle of a white screen, and calibrate the black levels on that projector to actually match that black surface. And if you can't do this, then what's the point of you calibrating? Because if it can't see that black level, it definitely won't see colors. As a matter of fact, get red, blue, green, different color sheets and stick in the middle of that screen, see if you can blend it and match them. And I guarantee you won't. Your calibrating projector is useless. You have to calibrate it if you have a screen that basically cannot see color or contrast. This is what you're going to have to do. I see heightener technology you're seeing in the screen. Our heightener allows the black screen to be able to pick up and maintain very, very high white levels. So that way that the screen can maintain beautiful shades of blue and nice skin tones and nice, beautiful whites. See those little whites coming up right there? That's what the heightener does. And if you notice how dark my screen is, because I get this a lot, I see people who claim to have black screens, but they're actually gray. That's another trick you got to watch out for. They come up gray because if the screen's gray, then it picks up a higher white level, but they try to claim this being black. Now, when your screen's black, it's supposed to match black. That's how it's supposed to match, black, not gray. Started talking about the change of the company and got into this. Yeah, might as well. That's how I am. People should know me by now. If you watch my YouTube channel, you know from the door, I talk about a lot of stuff. And this is what people should be to do. If they have the knowledge and education in the field, they would be able to talk about it, but they can't. Yeah, the door demonstration. People who are doing these demonstrations, if your screen's not physically in the door or close to the door, something, don't do those demonstrations. That's an insult. We got too many demonstrations for that one, so I'm going to cut it short because, yeah, we got tons on that one. Outside demonstrations. Can't express this enough. Neither one of y'all. including, well, I don't know. I gotta look that up before I say that. I don't want to make that statement about Goose Screen or make that statement against Knox or the rest of them, unless I do the research and see how many demonstrations I've done outside. But so far, we have the most. You have the most demonstrations for outdoor demonstrations on and off YouTube. But you guys talk about doing outdoor screens, and the demonstrations I've seen on your outdoor screens are very poor. Extremely poor. That's a 720p projector sitting right there. Price tag for that one, 150 bucks. You can't pick this up on a white screen. Judging by that, well, the great products are not good for outside anyway, and white screens can't pick up jack. I have no idea why they continue to make white screens. Well, it's kind of good too. They make because they're cheap and they cost less. Can you imagine painting over a $5,000 screen if a white screen didn't exist? That'd be kind of crazy. So yeah, it's a good thing the white screens do exist, but stop using white projection screens outside. Really stop doing that. It's embarrassing. It really is. I'm not telling you this because I'm trying to coach you into buying our technology. It's up to you whether you buy it or not. It's your choice at the end of the day. You want to be the embarrassment at your party, or you want to basically have a screen there, you just want to sit there and jaw drop, go, oh, that looks amazing. There you go. Which one you want? When I go outside, I can walk. I have demonstrations where I can walk through the house, look at the screen in the window, look at the screen in the ceiling, look at the screen on the wall, walk outside and see the screen also, and nothing changes. No matter what element I walk through, that screen always maintains whatever projector we're using. But stop using white screens outside. That's an embarrassment. This is what you're supposed to be to pull up off your screen outside. You should see a 100% contrast level. That's what you should be reading. There's no excuse for it. I watch people blow up those white inflatable screens, and it's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. I'd rather watch my cell phone at the end of the day. You see the black level on that? That's what you're supposed to be picking up. It's supposed to look like a TV when you're outside. Notice when you watch the demonstration where the fellow had, we call him the fellow, whatever his name is. I'm not going to mention him here. This one, the Batman with the customer on top of the roof deck. That was sad. And you're using a short though at that, right up on top of the screen, and you couldn't pick up the black cinema bars. Matter of fact, you couldn't pick up any of the contrast in that Batman movie because everything was coming up with kind of an ashy, washed out look. That is how a black level looks when it's outside. On a $150 projector. Not short throw. I'm about good about 150-inch screen, so we're probably about a good maybe 16 feet back from the screen. And see no shades of washed out ashy gray. Need I say no more? Yeah, that's how it's supposed to look. It's supposed to look real. And get what you pay all this money for your projector. Most of y'all only get half of your machine. That's all you get. It's just half. It's like the equivalent of someone saying, oh, give me $3,000 for it. And they'll take a machine and they'll cut your projector in half and go, here you go. Well, what's this? You're only going to need half of it. That's all you're going to be able to use. That's what's going to happen. The biggest mistake, and I've done it myself, the biggest mistake, and I'm talking about my experience also too. The biggest mistake people make when they buy projectors, they really think all the bells and whistles that they're going to read that their projector has. I hear it all day long with customers will contact me and say, well, my projector has this and has that and has this and that and the other and so and so and so. All right, fine. So what's the problem? I can't see it. I turn the lights on, it washes out. Maybe I have to buy a higher lumen count. Maybe I have to get a higher contrast capability, more maybe a better color capability. No, none of that's going to work at all. You're just spending money, throwing money out the window. It's not going to work. It's your screen that's having the issue. That's the problem. That's the problem that you're having. You fix the screen, you fix your projector problems. That's how that works. You don't need a 2,000,000 to 1 projector if you got a screen that's physically black. You see that right there? You see how beautiful that is? And ceiling and light projection technology. This is what Elite Screen tells you their product has. I'm pretty sure it does have the ceiling light projection, but ours is better because if I want to show you ceiling projection technology, I can show you a demonstration of a 150-inch screen displaying at the same time doing the same thing at 180 on a ceiling. See how beautiful those clouds look? That detail, that looks realistic. A lot of people buy our ceiling projection screen paint because of that picture alone by itself. Because that picture, when you click on it, those clouds move. Thunder and lightning cracks in between. Looks amazing. That's why I said the whole thing about the infinity ceiling. I spent over $2,000 to have somebody come into my house. No offense against people who make that stuff, but anyway, I'm not gonna have somebody come into my house, rip out my entire ceiling, install a bunch of fiber optic lights. So I will see the exact same thing forever as long as that thing is installed into my ceiling. When I can take my technology that will cost you under $600 to go in and coat your ceiling and change it out at will, which means you don't have to look at the same stars every day. If you want the universe, that you can produce. If you want to go under the ocean and visit Atlantis, you have that capability. If you want to turn your theater room into a winter wonderland, well, you have that capability also. Anything you want to stick to your ceiling, which is within that Fire Stick or any program you're using, will connect to the ceiling. And on top of that, you can have all your lights on, sit there and read a book in your dedicated theater room if you want, because you have that option, and watch your screen at the same time while watching the ceiling. Tell me how many certified companies can tell you that at the end of the day. Oh, speaking of outer space. Oh, that was one right there. Did I keep that projector? Oh, I did keep the ultra short, though. I do have it. Now, the reason why people are attracted to this technology is because, as I said before, for their dedicated theater room, they can do something much interesting with their ceiling. And I've had people talking about, yeah, I would love to have this universe just pop up on my ceiling, to have the stars and moons move around like a planetarium. That's what they want. Kind of can't get a planetarium. You spend over $2,000 for a screen that's just going to show white twinkling lights all day long. That's what you're pretty much going to see. That's in the infinity ceiling. This, you can change it any way you want. Let's go over to, this is another one that's pretty much people are interested in, is tabletop projection. Right there, that is a everyday kitchen wooden table coated with our technology. And yeah, you can slide things across it, whatever you want. You're not going to scratch it. That stuff is absolutely, completely scuff proof. We've made it that way. So that way you can take some punishment. You spill things on it, whatever, don't make a difference. Don't really care. It's not going to damage it. Now, could you do this with gray paint? Someone say, well, we could do this with a gray screen or a white screen because the projector is sitting on top. Yeah, again, it's a 3600 lumen ultra short throw projector, which means it's going to wash it out. And again, you can't see the contrast of it because, again, the screens can't see it. But I have to keep going back to that over and over again sometimes. There we go. There's our images right there, pulling up on our 720p $60 projector. For those who've been asking us questions about this particular setup here, these projectors you can get over on eBay for under $200. But yeah, people love that. That's the reason why we use older projectors in our demonstrations, because that way it doesn't cost the consumer a lot of money. And on top of that, if we can get this to work, we can get anything to work off this technology. So they asked us, the stand is the other problem you're going to have. That's the biggest problem. These stands right here are extremely hard to find. They just are. This particular projector, the reason why this is a special projector, because this particular model can lay a perfectly flat image to the surface, where if you use an Epson projector, any kind of ultra short throw projector on a stand, it doesn't lay perfectly flat. It lays with a wedge attached to it, which means that part of the screen looks like it's lifting up, and it has this kind of wedge look to it, which looks very attractive if you're doing a tabletop display. What people don't know about these particular projectors is these particular projectors have something called a tabletop setting, which allows you to be able to project flat to a table. They also have another attachment that hooks here and here underneath this, but you can't see it, that allows you to turn the projector upside down and allows you to be to connect these legs here and here, which dangle the projector underneath of the a table, or if you have a glass table, you can project an image upward. That's where invisible technology comes in. So yeah, these projectors were designed for tabletop displays. That's what makes them so interesting. 2 HDMI ports, 3600 lumens, which right now happens to be, besides the cheaper one under $200, one of the most highest lumen projectors I've seen for under 200 bucks. Now, if I was using in my demonstration a $4,000, $5,000, $3,000, or $2,000 projector, you would have never known about this technology and the fact that you can basically use it for a tabletop display. I'm telling you, those older projectors are got all kinds of interesting features. Just the sad thing about it is the companies who developed these projectors never ever got a chance to see the full potential of their technology due to the fact they were displaying them on white surfaces. And when people say, "Hey, Mr. Bird, you talk to," because I know more. That's why. When you know more, you know more. And that's why they don't talk much in their videos, because they don't know jack. There we go. Look at this. See right there? Boom, 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 boom. Oh, perfect example. This is supposed to be black. You know that when that 16K logo pops up, this is supposed to be jet black. Oh, tabletop display. Did we do one to the what you call it? Let me see real quick. We got a lot of demonstrations in there. That's one section right there. Oh, here's the daytime version pictures. Because people were asking us about, okay, can you use this with all the lights on? Like, yeah, with the lights on, you definitely can do this. So let me show you right. Boom, 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 boom. Well, look how sharp that image is. 720p projector, 720p, under $200 on eBay. And that's what it looks like on our technology. Now, if you were to take the same projector, which we tell people at the end of the day, with people that will go out and they'll get the projector, do it on a white or gray screen, and think they're going to get the same reaction. You're not going to get the same reaction. You need our product to do that. Because some people think it's the projector that's doing it. No, it's not the projector. If the projector doing it, it'd be a lot more than 200 bucks. There you go. Now, even though people say, well, you're at a shorter distance, and this is where the image pulls up much higher, again, can't explain this enough. Gray screen's going to pick up, but it can't see contrast and color, which means your image is going to wash out. That's what's going to happen. This is fantastic. If you're using this for an office, you can actually put your image right there on the table. Like I said, but as in getting the stand is a nightmare to come by. It is. It's a nightmare if you find one. B&H, I got mine for $100 on Amazon. I just happened to be at the right place at the right time. I got my stand for $100. Some places are asking like $300, $400 for that stand. But that stand is needed to do that tabletop display. Unless I show you how to build a tabletop stand that you can actually make yourself, which would be a lot more cheaper, which I need to do that. I need to build one, show you how to build one and make your own stand, which isn't really hard to do. All right, let's come out of this one right here. These are tons of demonstrations that we do, pictures and stuff like that. I'm supposed to be in here literally getting a photo of our label for the time being, so we can put the LLC. So you can put that in there into the Facebook page, because now we are going to be LLC pretty soon. Yeah, we got approved. Boop, 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 boop. Takes a while for that paperwork to go through to Uncle Sam, but when he gets around to it, he gets around to it. So we're going to have our LLC approval, our license approval. Everything's going to be approved. Boom. And then once this is all done for the paperwork on this company, one solid block of or all of our stuff, we can just go. I love the fact that we're just going to go to City Hall and go, here's my license. Let me get that permit, and we go out in the park and have some fun with the technology. It's going to be so much fun, because we need to have the license to get those permits. That'll give us a chance to operate anywhere we want in the city without having any issues or any problems. It shows that we are legit. That's what I love about it. So once that's done, we start working on the exotics. The exotics are done, then we start working on the distributor company, which requires a whole different line of paperwork because it's a distributorship company. So we might put that under an S corporate license. which would be the best way to go. And put it under an S corporate license, which we have to file a different form of taxes and all that stuff for it. All right, well, okay, I got to get to work because I got to make phone calls today. I got to be out and about. And I got orders to process, so we're doing gallons today because we don't sell gallons, but we do make an invisible coating. The invisible coating can only be picked up. Sorry about that, people, but it's true. The invisible coating can only be picked up by companies. Only companies can obtain it. We have things that you do not see on the website that can only be picked up on certain sites that they can get access to and go in and get whatever they need from us. And if they're working for some special projects, we have to be able to see physically our company in order to obtain that invisible technology that we have. So I got 2 gallons of that to ship out, and I got to ship out another gallon of the outdoor paint, which somebody came in and ordered. Thank you so much for the support. We really appreciate it. So yeah, I got much to do today, and I got to get ready because in December I got my lawsuit coming up. Yeah, I have no idea. I figure what am I going to buy. I'm going to buy something. Like I don't need that. Then that's just downright stupid. I don't know. If it all works out, everything goes well, I think I'm going to get myself an 8K projector because I always wanted one. I never had an 8K, especially if I'm going to do a 4090 graphic card, and that thing does 8K. I would love to have an 8K projector set up for my PC setup, just to see what that technology would look like on an 8K projector. Because they're like $10,000. That'd be nice to have. Then I got to see what the wattage capability is too, because last time I brought in a high-end commercial projector, there was an issue. I almost taking out the lights. So I got to check on that first. But anyway, let me get out of here real quick. I got much to do, much to do. Like I said, you're going to see some changes coming down through time. The Crystal Edge site is now being converted to a company called our Advanced Ambient Rejection Black Edge Screen Paint. That is going to be for commercial use. We're only going to make that in sizes of 5 gallons, 10 gallons, and 20 gallons. And before we get to that stage of that company, we are going to need warehouse space to be able to house what kind of special machinery to be able to make that product in that large quantity. But that's what that's going to be engineered for, because we get people contact us and they want, we have the invisible goes to around $300 a gallon. And we have people that come in and they need like 13, 14 gallons of it. And at $300 a pop, again, we don't want to charge them a lot of money. We want to give them massive discounts, but it's better if they go through the commercial site because they can get large quantities of it, and it's much better. And they get a discount when they go through there, when they go through that site. So that's what we want to engineer that site for. And then the beautiful thing about it is I can hire some people. That's why we apply for the EIN number, so we can hire people and have employees so they can take care of that when those larger orders go through. So everything we're doing right now, we're just setting the platform, setting the stage for the next level, which means next year I'll be getting to some commercial property and stuff like that. I got a Black Expo coming up, or African American Expo coming up. Either way you want to put it. With African American business, people working in the field of business, and I'll get a chance to meet some interesting people on that. That'll be fantastic. Pass out my business cards, which I'm going to show you the new cards when they come in, which should be here on the 15th. And I'll get a chance to rub shoulders and get a chance to talk to the head CEO who's going to be running the entire event, which is fantastic. And that will allow me to get maybe some backing for my company to get on another level even faster, including with the settlement, God willing, that we get set up with, which we shouldn't have no problem with winning. And we can go push on from there to get much more capital for the company. All right, got to go. Thank you all, and God bless. Got much more work to do, things I've got to do. What time we got here?